Reuters and the Associated Press are reporting on a terrifying development coming out of Korea. They say, quote, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on Friday declared his frontline troops in a quasi-state of war and ordered them to prepare for a battle a day after the most serious confrontation between the rivals in years. All right, so let me explain what led to this point. Allegedly, North Korea had planted landmines that maimed 2 South Korean soldiers earlier this month. Now, they deny that. The North Korean government denies that, but the South is absolutely convinced that they planted the landmines. And remember, we know that I believe 2 soldiers were injured. One of them lost both of his legs. The other one lost one of his legs. And they were naturally really fucking pissed about that. And in response to that, South Korea started to do a trick that they used to do, which is they started broadcasting negative things, a negative message about North Korea through giant loudspeakers on the border that they share, which is like a very tense area. There's soldiers lined up on both sides of the border all the time, and a little demilitarized zone. They started blasting basically like radio propaganda into North Korea about how fucked up the North Korean regime is. Now, of course, I'm sure all the information is actually true, but nonetheless, you know, it still fits the definition of propaganda, and they're trying to penetrate the message into North Korea, and presumably to lead to unrest within North Korea. So Kim Jong-un did not like that very much, and he responded to that by launching, quote, artillery attacks. Oh boy, now this is getting really, really serious. So the amazing thing is, they launch attacks, and then they deny it. Now again, it appears to be fairly irrefutable that they did launch attacks, but Kim Jong-un was like, no, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, because, you know, it's weaselly, of course, but I think the message there might be, oh God, I really don't want this to escalate any further, so I'll say I didn't do it even though I did it. And let me give you some more information on that. They say, quote, North Korea on Thursday afternoon first fired a single round believed to be from an anti-aircraft gun, which is no laughing matter, which landed near a South Korean border town, Seoul said. About 20 minutes later, 3 North Korean artillery shells fell on the southern side of the demilitarized zone dividing the 2 Koreas. South Korea responded with dozens of 155mm artillery rounds, according to South Korean defense officials. Oh boy. So the North fired, and then South Korea fired back. Now, nobody's hit anything or anyone yet, but they're basically sending warnings here, and they're like, hey man, you got beef, bro? Don't fuck with me. And the other side's like, you don't fuck with me. And there's a bunch of chest puffing out going on here. And here's the cherry on top. You ready for this? Kim Jong-un says that the South has until Saturday to stop broadcasting throughout the loudspeakers, or through the loudspeakers, I should say, the propaganda, or else. Now, he doesn't go into specifics about what or else means, but he's saying, if you don't stop with that, it could be war. Oh boy. Now, they mentioned in the article previous times where situations like this happened, and there's a constant battle going on because of military exercises that the South does with the U.S., and North Korea says you're practicing an invasion, and they say, no, we're just practicing it for defensive reasons, and that's led to a standoff in the past. In 2010, there was some fighting, and some people died. So it's not like this is without precedent. It has happened in one form or another before, but every time it happens, watch the fuck out, man, because remember, they're both armed to the fucking teeth. Now, they also say, and this is unconfirmed, the South Korean government and the U.S. government say, we don't think that's the case, but there was a report from one South Korean media outlet which said that they saw the North was setting up Scud missiles on the border to launch a bigger attack. Again, if that's true, that's scary, because who the fuck knows what will happen if they don't stop playing the radio message into North Korea. But either way, man, this is not good. It's not good. And remember, North Korea has nukes. Now, I don't know, and I mean, I wouldn't guess that Kim Jong-un is that fucking crazy, because he's shown before that he has self-preservation in mind to a certain extent. So he has to know if he were to launch a nuke on Seoul, he would be destroyed in 0.2 seconds. But, the regime is fucking crazy. The whole system they have over there is fucking crazy. So who the fuck knows where this can go from here? But everybody should take a couple deep breaths. Everybody should back off here a little bit because we're heading down a dangerous path. I don't know what to do moving forward, but what scares me is the way that it's unfolded to this point is exactly how wars start. Where there's one incident with the mines, where the South says it's obviously the North's fault. The North says, no, it wasn't us, but, the South got soldiers from the South stepped on mines and they blew up and they're maimed. Whose else's fault is it? Slovakia? Of course it's your fault, right? So that's one problem, and then it escalated to, well, now we're going to play the propaganda into your place, and then Kim Jong-un was like, no, you're fucking not, and then that escalated into we're going to fire some warning shots, and then the South fired warning shots back, and then next thing you know, boom, you're in an all-out war, and we should all be very, very careful to try to avoid that. Now, understand, you guys know, we all agree, the North Korean regime is fucking as evil as it gets. I believe the UN report even compared them to the Nazis. An official UN report said, they have fucking concentration camps, hard labor camps. This is a fucking insane regime. So some people might actually be rooting for, hey, let's go in there, let's topple them, and then, let's set up a better regime or something. I don't know. I know some neocons want to get involved in wars everywhere, and they wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that. But the thing you have to be wary of is, like I just said, they got nuclear weapons, and anything that would possibly happen where you try to counter in there or you try to do a more offensive maneuver, you're risking everybody in Seoul, and that's a risk that you can't take. So you have to be careful moving forward, and we have to find some kind of intelligent way to de-escalate the situation. But up until, Saturday's the deadline now? That's what Kim Jong-un says? It'll be tense. On that deadline, it'll be tense, because if they keep playing that radio into North Korea, I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen.